Welcome to another segment of Outside the Box. I'm your host, Onay, the CEO, and today I have a fabulous guest that is going to help us be more educated on how to take care of our natural coils. So I want you to buckle up your seatbelts because you're now plugged in, tuned in, tapped in to Outside the Box. Thanks for coming once again. I'm your host, Onay, and I want to go ahead and introduce our guest. She is fabulous. She's an entrepreneur. She is my sister, Tammy Jolivette. How are you?
Awesome. Thank you so much for having
And
me.
thank you for coming.
Yes.
I was inspired to have you simply because I love your work. I love what you do. I love how passionate you are about it.
Yes.
And if it wasn't for you, a lot of women, including myself, wouldn't really know what to do with our natural coils. Now, I know I'm not in the natural today, but trust me, them coils be popping.
For sure.
So I wanted to ask you, like, what inspired you? First of all, tell us all what you do.
Okay. Thank you so much for asking. I am majoring in clinical psychology, getting a PhD in clinical psychology, and I'm also a hairstylist, or I just say educator as well. And I've been in the industry for over 20 years, and my specialty is curly hair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to want to specialize in curly hair?
I found a unique niche that I could be passionate about because, you know, in the industry, there's so many people doing so many things, and curly hair was something that I knew, well, I could totally relate to, right? Mm-hmm. And it was really about making a difference because the aspect that I take from a psychology or mental aspect is the thought process with curly hair, right? Because I realized the level of the disconnect of education regarding that. And that was like the driving force that had me to say, you know what, let me do this thing because I really want to help people. And I have to say, from my personal experience and my clients was what had me really push to take this on at a whole nother level that I am in now.
Oh, okay. That's dope. Now, I struggled with my natural hair for a long time because I couldn't find that formula. I didn't know, we had good hair and then we had nappy hair. We had all these different terms, but it took me a while to realize that my hair was only nappy when it wasn't moisturized,
Right.
But I didn't know that till I was like 38. Okay, so it was like a struggle. Everybody had these stigmas like, oh, I don't want to go through this. So,
Right.
I don't want to go through the ugly stage or whatever they call that, so what are some of the stigmas that you have come across when dealing with women and trying to encourage them with going natural per se?
Oh, the stigma is really how we view curly hair, right? Culturally, the European aspect of straight hair is considered beautiful, right? And the funny thing is 70% of women have curly hair, right? And a lot of times they don't realize that it's curly until one day they just decide not to straighten it. And they're like, wow, I just thought I just had nappy hair, quote unquote, right? And so the stigma relates also to the biases and prejudice that we deal with curly hair. So if you look at straight hair and you think it's beautiful, then of course then the opposite of beautiful is ugly, right? And so when people are looking at their hair and it's not straight, then it would be considered ugly since it's curly. Right? And so the stigma really came about when I started to see in my clients and how they were like, oh, no, I'm not going to wear my hair straight. Oh, I mean curly. I'm not going to wear it curly. I'm like, why not? It's beautiful. And they're like, oh, no, because I don't know what to do. Right? And then they're not being educated. And I'd like to throw something else in. In our cosmetology schools, we're not taught how to do curly hair at all. In fact, we're taught how to relax hair. And that's just the only segment that we get to do an African-American textured hair.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you almost have to seek your own education on how to care for
Yes.
natural hair.
Right.
Well, African American natural
Right.
hair. Okay. Well, how many years? You said you have like 20 years of experience of, doing hair and everything. But when did you decide that love my curly hair? It was time to manifest that.
Well, I have to say it's a journey, and that's what I appreciate about Love My Curly Hair is the journey, right? And it came about really when I had to experience it, because I was already doing my clients' hair, natural curly hair, and they were going through different thought processes and stigma within themselves, right? And I remember a client telling me, she was like, hello, you should be wearing your hair natural. Now, it was natural, but I was flat ironing and everything else, right? So that wasn't natural enough for me, And then I was thinking, like, who is she to tell me what I'm supposed to do? I'm the stylist here,
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Let me take this on because I can go straight anytime, So I went ahead and decided to start going through the process. Oh, nay. I was like, what is happening here? It was torture to embrace that, to look at myself. And I remember when I did the big chop, I was horrified. Because, like, what am I supposed to do? Because when I did do it, the lady who did it didn't know what to do, didn't know what to tell me what to do, had no clue. So I'm stuck with this miniature fro, no hydration whatsoever. And it just looked like a hot mess to me,
Yeah.
So, of course, I didn't feel beautiful because it's not what I was used to.
Right.
And so I had to constantly look at myself every day and be like, okay, how much makeup should I put on? Or what earrings should I wear? Or what outfit that's going to bring out me being feminine, beautiful that is. And so when I saw what I was experiencing, and then I started talking to my clients, I could see the pain that they were going through. And then that's when Love My Curly Hair had to come about, because I start seeing phases of myself when I did start loving my hair.
Right.
Yeah. And now, girl, I love my hair. I love my hair. I love my curly hair. And that's why Love My Curly Hair came about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful thing, because in the society that we're in, you hear a lot of men say, oh, I love women with natural hair. But you never see them with these women with natural hair.
For sure.
You see them with the bundles and the extensions, and okay, so that's like a contradiction, because you find these women that are rocking a fro, you might not find them attractive. But when you love your hair,
right,
you'll attract someone that finds it attractive.
Exactly.
It won't matter who's not into it.
Exactly.
But loving your hair, and first of all, being educated about your own hair, because I did not know that my coils looked that way. My sons, I could see, you have some pretty hair. You must have took after your grandmother, because I don't know where you get that from. Right. Then I started using the right products, and I was like, okay, I can get up and wash and go.
Right.
Shake it out a little bit. So that's a beautiful thing. Now I want to ask you, like, what was your aha moment in saying, like, during your aha moment, because you said you wanted to start, My Curly Hair. Where were you in life?
Let me think of where I was in life. I was still going through the journey. I was in school getting my PhD as well. And I remember thinking to myself, reflecting on my processes of curly hair, And when I was looking to do my dissertation, I was like, what can I do on my dissertation? Was whatever you experience. I'm like, well, I've been a hairstylist for I don't know how long. How can I bring what I'm doing from a clinical aspect, And then I started really thinking, and then I start noticing how my clients were dealing with the mental aspect of not accepting their hair and what they dealt with just to not wear their hair curly. I knew I had something there.
Yeah.
I knew that I can make a difference from a mental standpoint, because I had the education with the curly hair, right? Now I'm bringing that mental aspect, that I bring that together. Oh, yeah, we got something here. We're transforming lives from the mental and the physical, right? And that's when my Love My Curly Hair came about. And it was just that aha. And when I started doing research and I seeing the stigma of it, the biases and the prejudice, I was like, if it's to put a date on it, I don't have that, but I do have the journey and the process that I started to think and what moved me in that passion that had me like,
Now,
oh,
do you do speaking engagements for, like forums and symposiums where women can go? A lot of women empowerment. Well, right now, of course, due to COVID, nobody's doing anything.
right.
But when it starts up, are you open to that, or is that something you've done before?
Yes, I have. So yes and yes.
Okay.
I have been on a few radio shows. I've been on a few live Instagram lives because what I'm doing, people really want to know more about. And let me just say, it's not just African Americans. It's people of all different races and cultures.
Right.
That want to know because they want to know how to, or even to make sure they don't step on anyone's toes.
Right.
One thing I want to,
especially when you're dealing with, you're in a diverse
Industry.
marriage,
Yeah.
and you may have biracial children. You need to know how to care for their hair because kids don't come. Hair doesn't come with a manual.
No, it does
You have
not.
to figure out, are you with A, B, C, what your coil pattern is
Right.
and how much water retention your hair holds, because some people can wash their hair every day and then some people can't.
Right.
Some people have to get a regimen. Well, it's always advised to get a regimen. What are some tips that you think that you can offer women of color to take care of their hair better?
I'd say, first of all, know your texture, right? Know your pattern, right? Because the texture deals with a level of, how to say, you got the kinky coily, right? And the curly and the wavy. And then you have like the level of porosity that it is, right? Because the texture is more like, let me say, if it's fine, thick, or coarse, right? So that goes into the fact. So again, we have the level of, I would say, curl pattern, right? And that's kinky, coily, curly, and wavy. And then the texture, you have fine, medium, and coarse. And then you have the porosity, low, medium, or high porosity. And when you know those things about your hair, then you know what's the best product for your hair, right? And it's like that every time. It doesn't matter. And so for me, one of the things when I am doing my speaking engagements, a lot of people are like, well, what do you recommend for me to use? Well, one of the things about curly hair, it's not cookie cutter, baby. You know what I mean? You got to know your stuff.
Listen, I went through the stage where I had all these different products under my sink because I had tried everything, and when I found that one product that worked for me, it was I'm not getting paid for no plugs.
But that product, right?
But that product. Yeah. And when it worked for me, all I have to do is put just that on my hair,
Right.
and it'll withstand. Like for a couple days, I can do a good twist out on it, and it'll still look really good.
Yes.
I get a good week. With a
Right,
good
out
twist
of it.
out.
Yeah, most definitely.
So.
And so that's the thing for me, when people ask me what's the best product, when we get those things down, then I can look into saying, okay, let's look at what would be best for you from there. And it could be gel, it could be creams. I don't really focus on oils, but that's another conversation about that. But that would be the tip that I would give ladies, to know those things and then go from there about what's the best product for their hair. Yeah.
And you do consultations as well.
I do.
So if someone wants to find more about you, they can also go to like your Instagram, your website, and what so have you. So if there was something that you could do differently in your journey, what would it be?
To have learned to embrace my curly hair sooner.
That
Yeah.
was my answer. The sooner the better, you know. But we're grateful for the journey and the lessons learned along the way.
For sure.
Now, I wanted to also ask you tell me what you would tell the little brown girl in her early teens that's not accepting her hair texture. What would you tell her?
It's funny because I get present to the moment that I had to accept it and what I went through, the journey of my hair. The first thing is the self-awareness, right? Looking at herself and knowing who she really is, right? And then we move into self-love, right? So to have the self-awareness of who she is and all of who she is, embracing that. And then the self-love, just loving all of who she is. And then the self-confident, just wear it with all that you have and all that you are. And then the self-expression, be like, do you, boo, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell her to really embrace who she is from the inside
now, I
out.
wanted to ask you this while I have a few minutes on the clock.
Okay.
Color
Right.
and natural hair.
Right.
Because every single time
Mm-hmm.
I put a color on my hair,
Mm-hmm.
it's beautiful.
Right.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Right.
And I don't believe in my heart of hearts that it is my technician, my hair tech that's doing my, because I've went to multiple people,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone that I have let touch my natural hair, I believe they have blessed hands. So I don't believe that it was the application of it.
Right.
I just believe that my hair just was not receptive to bleach or anything like that. Do you have any tips on women that want to color their natural hair? Because mine just ain't working.
Okay, thank you for asking. Yes, I do have a technique. It's really hard to say even on here, but it is also understand the integrity of the curls. That's the first thing a person has to put in. And then there's always buffer of products that we put in the lightener that actually protects the hair follicle so it'll keep it strong. And so your hair still has that vibrant, whatever color you're wanting it in. And still the integrity of the curl is still there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed one time I've had my hair bleached and my curl pattern changed.
Okay, thank you for that. Now, it does relax it some, but
Okay.
it depends on the level of the developer on how relaxed your curl is, right? Because the thing is, it depends on how light you want to go, right? Because sometimes you don't have to use bleach. You can use color to get the results that you want. And if you do color, of course, the integrity of the curls are still there a lot more. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Get my free tips in. Why? Now, for the women that are doing the big chop, how necessary is it to cut off permed hair when doing a big chop?
I highly don't recommend it because of the trauma that comes with it.
Okay.
I have a client of mine and she wanted to do the big chop and I told her no. I said, you're not ready because the mental part of it is just too much.
Now, I cheated on a big chop. I let my hair grow out, you know, and I had like about that much new growth of unpermed hair, but I was getting it silk pressed,
right?
You know, in between. But once I would walk outside, you know, it'd be puffy in the middle and straight at the ends, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
So, but when I did the big chop, it wasn't short.
Right.
It was still able to be pulled in the ponytail.
Right.
Little one.
Yes.
But still a ponytail.
Right.
So it wasn't as traumatizing to me, but I've heard mixed reviews on it causes the hair to pop. So I didn't know if, you know, how true that was or how hair healthy it is to continue to leave permed hair on.
Well, there's different ways that you can do that, different techniques or different serums of products that help you to maintain it as you grow out and do the whole straight thing. And as you grow the ends out, I'm being mindful because I'm not trying to plug any product name in, but there are techniques that could be done with that as you're growing it out to where it's straight, right? And still don't worry about the pop. It wouldn't be a relaxer though. It would be something else. Yeah.
Okay.
But there's ways to do that. Like, and that's the thing for me as a curly hair specialist. I know like the ins and out because I did it for myself. Right. And so I have clients that come in like, can you? I'm like, I got you.
Yeah, because your hair looks fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just gonna put that out there, girl. Love them curls.
Thank you.
Gonna have me snatch this ponytail out when I get home. All right. Well, if we want to find out more information about you, if we want to hear drops and tips, we can go to your Instagram. Your Instagram is what again?
lovemycurlyhair.co. Again, that's lovemycurlyhair.co.
Yes. And I see that you have information on there about stigmas with hair and and tackling natural hair. Yes, yes. So people can go there, get informed, follow you, and have a little daily motivation to take care of those hair coils.
Yes, for sure.
And
for
you
sure.
also have a website. Are people able to book you on your website?
Yes, they are. You can reach me at www.lovemycurlyhair.com. Again, that's www.lovemycurlyhair.com. And I have consultation packages there, and also have it where people wanting to reach out to me via email, they can do that as well.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yes,
that is
thank
awesome. So
you.
they can book you right on there. Now, are you still taking clients at this time, or you?
Well, I am in our salon. We're wearing masks and everything. So, but I believe it, I'm getting a lot of new clients, which is great.
Yeah, because when the first round of the quarantine stay home work safe order, and I couldn't go to the beauty supply store to get a ponytail, or I couldn't go to the salon, I had no choice
Right.
but to learn what to do with my natural coils, because that's what I was stuck with.
Right.
And I was like, okay. So I actually learned how to really love my hair during quarantine, because
Yes.
I had no choice. And it's funny because when I would post the pictures of my hair natural, the responses I was getting, I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Right.
So, yes, we can learn to love our natural hair. So I want to thank you again, Tammy, for coming on and for just sharing some of your tips, some of your insight, some of your motivation. I know it's somebody out there that will definitely gain from this segment. I know I did. I want to advise our watchers and our viewers to be sure to check us out on different platforms. You can find us on YouTube, Stitcher, Spreaker, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, Google Play. You can even find us on Facebook for the time being. And be sure to follow me on my Instagram at Onay, the CEO. And if you like me, you follow me, I just might follow you back. And stay tuned. We'll be back next week with a new segment and a new guest. I'm your host, and I am out. Have a good one.